Hey guys, welcome back to this is our fourth episode.
Yeah.
So if you're, back and listening, thank you so much for supporting us. I'm Noel and this is
And I'm Soha. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to YouTube, follow on Spotify. Everything is going to be linked down below, like usual.
So for this week we have like a pretty, I think, exciting topic.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing something a little bit different. All our other ones were about like school and being brown, but we're really getting into like the pop culture side of things. So this is actually Soha's idea. So I'm gonna let her like talk about it.
All right. So like lately there have been like a lot of new artists kind of rising with like Gen Z. I think we're getting like our own artists kind of because we used to listen to like Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande that got more popular like when we were younger. So now we're getting our own artists, and I've been noticing that there are like different ways that people rise to fame and like different ways that people get successful. And so that's what we're going to be covering. So
yeah, she made like a whole really cute slideshow and everything. We'll like be putting it up, but yeah. So excited about this.
Yeah. Some of the main kind of singers that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at Olivia Rodrigo, who had like overnight fame, Tate McRae, who had overnight fame and then kind of like a quick fall off from that, and then we're going to be looking at Chappel, Roan, and Sabrina Carpenter, who it took them really long to reach the kind of overnight success that they got. Obviously I want to preface by saying like I'm a big fan of all of these artists, so there's no hate to anyone because they're all still extremely successful and doing really well for themselves. So the first person we're going to be talking about is Olivia Rodrigo. She became crazy popular in 2021, right from the beginning of 2021. So her kind of climb up was, did you watch like Disney shows growing up?
I didn't watch Bizarre Work. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know she was on that show. I never watched it. I watched High School Musical, like the series. Mm-hmm. I think I watched it like last year though. Like I know she was in it, but I didn't watch it when it was like super popular or anything.
Yeah, I didn't watch Bizarre Work either. I did watch she was in the American Girl doll movie Grace.
Oh yeah,
and I did watch that.
I didn't even know that was her though.
That was her, and I was obsessed with that movie. But yeah, so she was on Bizarre Work. That's where she started, and then she was on High School Musical, the series, which is a mouthful. But she was on that show, and I kind of followed the first 2 seasons, but she left, and so I also left.
She did?
Yeah, she wasn't on the show. She was like a little bit in the 3rd season, and then she just wasn't. But I would say she kind of made a name for herself in the musical industry when she wrote and performed an original song at the age of like 16 or 15. She wrote it, and it was like purely just her, and it's a good song. It's called All I Want, and it charted on the Billboard Hot 100, which is a big deal because she wasn't like signed to a specific record label besides like the Disney thing. So yeah, that was big. But then in 2021, at the beginning, she released Driver's License.
Yeah, I remember that was so big. Like everyone, crazy. How old were we? Like
13. Yeah.
That went big. Like everybody was obsessed with it.
Yeah, and it came out January, which is like not usually something artists will do because like they want it to like maintain popularity throughout the year by the end of the year. That song did. It came out January and it still was like fully like song of the year, I would say. It was pretty crazy. And she proved that she wasn't a one-hit wonder because she came out with Good For You and Deja Vu as her next singles, which were also like smash hits. Like those songs were
Deja
crazy.
Vu, I remember that one also like went crazy.
Yeah, and then Good For You was like song of the summer. Like it was all really big. I also remember I have this memory of like I got an MP3 player that year because I didn't have a phone, and the first thing I ever downloaded on my MP3 player was her album Sour, yeah.
Dude, she took so long to like come out with Guts. Like
she took like a 2-year break.
She took so long, and everybody was waiting. And I was like excited when she came out with it, but I didn't even like. I listened to a little bit of it when it came out, and then I got bored, and I just didn't listen to it. And then I think I took like a few weeks to like listen to it again, and it was like really good.
Some of the songs are like growers, and I say that as like a huge fan of her. But some of the songs are definitely growers, but I think that especially after seeing like videos of her performing them on tour and stuff, it's like it's meant to be live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she even said she wrote it with the intention of it being live. So that album came out in 2023, and I think we can part her career in like before driver's license and after driver's license.
Yeah.
So kind of how this happened, I would say, so All I Want went viral, and not a lot of the general public, like people my age, were listening to it, but a lot of like if you go online, like critics and stuff like that, if they were writing about Sour or driver's license, they were saying like, oh, we have visited this artist before with this one song, but it wasn't like super memorable or anything, but it did kind of get her name out there. A big part of the driver's license and Sour rollout, though, I would say, is the drama around it. I don't wanna, like, touch
was it
on
like the Joshua
Yeah,
Bassett drama?
like
Yeah,
all
I like
that.
heard a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was. Some people say like that was a big part of why it went so, like why it did so many crazy
Yeah.
numbers. But the song has sustained itself, so it can't just be that. But then there was like crazy anticipation for her debut album. She released it in May, I think. So there was like a big distance between.
Yeah.
And then also consistency is really important. She did continue to put out good music. Her latest album with songs like Vampire and Bad Idea, right, and Get Him Back, like those were all really popular. And so you have to be consistent with that because it's easy to fall off. There's a thing called the sophomore slump, which is basically where people's sophomore albums don't do as good as their debut albums. But I would say that didn't happen to her. So yeah, we're just gonna put this up on the screen for a little bit, but these are some like records that she as an artist she's broken, and it's a pretty recent.
Yeah, like I was
list.
looking at this, it says like first female artist to earn 6 songs above 1 billion streams.
Yeah,
that's like actually insane. 6 songs. That's like 6
she
billion
has
streams.
She has 2 over 2 billion also.
Which ones?
Good for You and Driver's License. I think this year or like end of last year they got over 2 billion. It's pretty crazy. And then two of the 6 are not singles on her album, which is also like a crazy thing to do because usually the most popular songs are singles, but 2 of these weren't.
We have like a few more examples, like Justin Bieber and Billie Eilish. I want to talk about Billie Eilish. Like, I know Ocean Eyes was like really popular, and then I feel like she was still like relevant, but with like some of her other like which one? Bad Guy, yeah.
A lot of her singles went crazy though.
Bad Guy, and what was the other one? It was like the one where she's like has blonde hair in the album.
Oh, Happier Than Ever.
Yeah. Remember how like she got really popular from like dyeing her hair blonde?
Yeah.
Like
her hair has been. I have this thing. Well, not me, but like this is like a thing where it's like the hair theory. And it's like where artists become more recognizable by their hair.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to bring it up later as well. But with Billie Eilish, like when she gained popularity, it was like the green hair was like a big, like you knew it was her.
Yeah.
So yeah. Like, yeah, Bad Guy was like on her first album. Ocean Eyes was her EP. But Bad Guy was on her first album. And Happier Than Ever did really good. Personally, I didn't like that album as much as her other work. But also her latest album.
Her latest album gained like a lot of traction.
Yeah. And then with Justin Bieber, that's like an older example, but I think personally I grew up listening to him a lot. So him with Baby was also the same thing. Okay, the next person.
Tate McRae effect. I started listening to her like I forgot who like introduced me to her. It might have been you, but I don't remember. But yeah, I listened to her a lot. I was like listening to her like the one album where she's like standing on the airplane.
She's All I Want to
Be. Yeah. Yeah, no,
that's what the song is. I don't remember.
No, there's like an album. Hold on, let me look. But I listened to that album a lot. I used to think I could fly.
Oh, yeah.
That one, she had some good songs on there, and like She's All I Want to Be. I remember that one got really popular because she had like a whole music video for it. And then, yeah.
That's like a big thing with her was her singles did really well, like Rubber Band.
That Way, that one was really popular. You Broke Me First, that was
her.
I think
her
that
debut
like,
single.
Yeah.
So I used to follow Tate McRae before You Broke Me First. She had a YouTube channel and she would write little songs on there. And that was, I think, like the first YouTube channel that I would like religiously follow. Like if she like had a video come out, I'd be like, oh my god, what song now? And I was so upset because I couldn't stream the songs anywhere.
Yeah.
But You Broke Me First, she did the same thing. She had the same like thing as the rest of her songs, but it just went extremely viral. Fun fact, the lyric video for that music video, she her label was like, you need a music video, but she didn't have like budgeting or anything. It was literally her phone in a tissue box.
I remember that one.
On the back of a car. She just made
it herself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
And the song went crazy. It was in 2020, and that song did really, really good. It charted in the Billboard Hot 100, and it was like her first single to do that, it was also her first single in general.
Yeah.
And then again, a lot of her singles were really promising, but what really put her on the radar would be
Greedy and Exes, which came out last year.
Yeah.
Both of them. And then they were on her album Think Later, which was like her fourth, I don't know which album.
Third or fourth.
Yeah.
But yeah, Greedy was insane. It did really, really good. I was really surprised while I was doing research for this that it didn't go number one. I think that there were like a lot of artists that had dropped music at the time, so she was blocked the number one spot.
Yeah, wasn't it? Didn't her album like come out the same time as Taylor Swift's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. But Greedy peaked at number 3, which is still really, really high. And then X's also charted at number 9. So those two were really popular, and she also like performed all over the place. Those songs, she performed at the Brits. She performed at the VMAs. She performed at like the Junos, which is like the Canadian awards. And so she was pretty much everywhere performing those two songs. She did SNL. So promo for the album was crazy. These songs were crazy.
Album was like not disappointing though. Like
yeah,
I liked the album, but it did, I feel like, fall off.
Yeah,
because it's like you listen to it for a little bit and then it's just like forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Like the songs on there were good. Some of them were really good, and I listened to them a lot. But then I don't know. I just like don't listen to them anymore.
Yeah, it could also be. I think part of it could also be that in the recent year there's been so much music that's come out, so I'm like cycling through music really fast. But if there is like old music I like, I am still listening to it.
Yeah.
One song from the album that I'm definitely still listening to is
Run for the Hills.
That song is really good.
Is so good.
That was, I think, another single, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that song was crazy good as well. So we're just gonna compare her singles and then her album. So Greedy peaked at number 3, and it was used within like 2 months. It was used in like 1.3 million TikToks.
Yeah.
So that, and then X is like a huge international hit.
And she beat Drake.
Yeah, she beat Drake, as it was War of the Canadians.
Yeah.
But she beat Drake for like Most Loved New Music with like multiple I guess like news outlets put out like their top picks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most requested song on radio that month and the next. So I mean there were gonna be like songs of the summer as well, I think.
Yeah.
And then Think Later came out, and Think Later debuted at number 4. So again, it did really well. But it has fallen off now. Recently, I didn't want to pull up a chart because literally just like a few days ago she performed at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And shared a snippet of like an upcoming new song.
Really?
Yeah. So, and it was really good, and so her Spotify listeners and everything went up. So I felt really
I saw it where she was like dancing with it. Yeah.
Oh, the choreo was crazy. We're gonna talk about that. She's a crazy good dancer. So, do you wanna talk about this?
So Saul was saying that like she has all the things to like be a pop star. You know, she can dance, like she's been dancing since she was little. She can definitely sing and write. She wrote all her songs like herself, and she can perform. Like she's a very good performer. I've seen like a lot of her like videos from tour.
Her stage presence is wild.
She's like crazy good performer. But
so I was gonna say, like, even though she has all these factors, which like 5-10 years ago, smash hit immediately.
Yeah.
I would say all artists would have been like if you look at like a show like X Factor was like that's what they looked for, right? Someone who can connect emotionally to their audience, which she did with like You Broke Me First, dancing, and just obviously being able to carry vocally. But now I feel like there's a difference in the sense that people want something a little more like niche.
Yeah, they want like different varieties of stuff. Like, you know how like who were we just talking about?
Like Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, like she has like different kinds of like
genres.
She has like
she
rock
explores
and stuff.
Yeah, something new I've noticed is a lot of artists aren't like you're not
Sticking
like a
to,
pop
like,
artist
thing,
anymore.
yeah.
Exactly. And I think that gives a lot of variation. But for someone like Tate McRae who wants to be a pop star, it's hard because it's a lot of generic pop, which is obviously generic pop is great. Like I feel like everyone is still okay with that, but maybe not a full album of it, which is where I think that's what the problem was. I think that's just my opinion. So yeah.
Pop.
Yeah. All right. The next. Okay, some examples.
Okay, Jack Harlow had an album and I didn't even know that. She just told me that he had an album like before Lovin' on Me.
It came out in April of when did
there
Lovin'
was
come out last
I
year?
literally follow him. I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Like
No.
I also like follow a lot of people, so probably like got lost somewhere. Yeah. But I didn't see any promo for the album. I didn't see any like snippets. You know how like people will use the music on like TikToks and reels and stuff. I didn't see anything. And then I was just looking at the album. I've never heard any of these songs.
I remember when the album came out because I get like notified and I like care about these things whether I like the album or not. But I never listened to it, even though I usually do listen to an album first. I think I just forgot to. But I was looking at the album and there's not a single song title in there that I recognize.
Yeah, same.
Well, that could also just be me, but like I haven't heard anyone else talking about it. So
like nobody was talking about it.
So that compared to Loving on Me, which did come after, so it's not exactly the same thing, but I think it is the same pattern of like singles are so much more popular.
Yeah.
With some of these artists. So Lovin' on Me was huge.
That
it was number one forever.
That song
I don't know how long it's been on charts.
It's so good.
Yeah, and then it was just all over the place. Like you couldn't escape it. And then another example would be Camila Cabello, who I also grew up listening to her.
I would just listen to Havana.
Yeah. I mean, amazing song.
Yeah.
And I do want to start by saying she's like Tate McRae in the sense that recently, like, her stage presence has been insane anywhere she's performed. Like, she's dancing now, and she's very, very vocally talented, by the way. Her new album doesn't reflect the amount of things she can do with her voice. It's actually crazy. However, her last two albums kind of weren't as
like good.
Big. Yeah. It wasn't even that they weren't as good. Like her latest album CXOXO wasn't my kind of music. So I wasn't super into it, but it had a lot of hype because her first
she had
two
like
singles,
a lot of like big artists. Like she had Drake on like one song. She had a lot of big artists on that.
So, I mean, there was a lot of hype because I Love It and He Knows. She did collab. Something that's worked for her in the past is like collabing with rappers. I think they complement each other very well. So she did that again. For some reason, the album just didn't do as big as it should have compared to the amount of people that were. Because at first people were like clowning on her, but then they realized that she was serious about this like genre change and kind of personality change. She dyed her hair blonde. Again, hair theory. She dyed her hair blonde. And she was fully like shifting somewhere, and I think that didn't follow through for some people.
It just didn't like work.
Yeah. And then the album before that, Familia, that she had two singles, Don't Go Yet.
Don't Go Yet was big. I remember listening to that one.
Yeah. Those both were really popular. Again, I didn't hear much of anything about the rest of the album though. Yeah, those are two examples of the Tate McRae effect, I guess.
Okay. Chappel, Roan, and Sabrina Carpenter effect. I can't wait to get into this.
Yeah.
So she put something 20 years to get overnight fame, which is like a saying.
It's a saying from this one comedian. I forgot his name. It's like Eddie something. But he said that because he was like, in the industry, it takes 20 years to get overnight success. Which seems true for these two. So
we're going to talk about Chappell Roan first.
So for Chappell Roan, again, I would like to split into like two separate portions of her career. So her first album, she did have an EP, but her first like actual album, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, that album came out last year. But before that, she's been making music since 2017.
And I have never heard of her. I didn't know who she was until like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
maybe?
which is the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But something cool was like Troye Sivan like had shouted her out, and
Mhm.
so I guess people kind of like had heard about her in the same sense. Like, did you know Justin Bieber like shared videos of Madison Beer, like discovered her and like shared videos of
Really?
her on Twitter?
Really?
Yeah, so that was like kind of beginning of her career. It was her debut single, so it's like a big deal for an artist to like promote that. Um, I listen to some of her old music, which I don't listen to, but I listened to some of it, and it was very much a sound that I don't associate with her at all. It was very Billie Eilish, and I looked at the year, and I think it makes sense because so many record labels were trying to find the next Billie Eilish after seeing like the success with, in the middle, like sad girl pop was like so huge. With Tate McRae is like a really good example of that. Like You Broke Me First, like just kind of that sound that Billie Eilish had was really big, and they were trying to do that, and it didn't work, but it did work.
Okay. And then Good Luck Babe came out. Okay, so let me tell you how I like found out about this. She and Nora were talking like in our group chat. She was like somewhere at a restaurant or something. She was like, "Oh, like Good Luck Babe just came up." And I was like, I didn't know what that was, so I just like totally disregarded it. I was like, okay, probably some old song because that's what it sounded like. And then Nora comes in, she's like, "Oh my god!" Like she's like talking about it, and she's like, I don't know, like I love Chappell Roan, something. Yeah. And I was like, Chappell Roan.
She said, "What is Chappell Roan?"
Like, no, listen. I was like, okay, and then I was like, okay, so it's probably some singer, and I was like, she sounds like she's someone from the 70s or 80s. Yeah. I'm not even joking. Like I literally thought she was some really old artist, and she just had like one of her songs like came up. Chappell Roan, like that doesn't sound like someone from our time. You know what I mean?
And also her song is very 80s. Good Luck Babe is very 80s.
And then I search her up and I'm like, oh, she's only like 20 something. Yeah. I'm like, what the heck? Why have I never heard of her? Yeah. And then right after that, I started getting all this like Good Luck Babe like stuff. It was everywhere. It's everywhere. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is like a new song that just like came out. I thought it was like some old song. Yeah. But I remember seeing Sabrina Carpenter's like cover.
It was so good. We're gonna talk about Sabrina, but it was so good.
But yeah, she's like really popular because of that now. Like she's definitely made a name for herself.
It's actually wild. There's a chart soon that like stresses me out. You're gonna see. So after Good Luck Babe, she was already set to perform at Coachella because her debut album did pretty well with like critics and stuff like that. But again, not at the level of anything like this song. She was set to perform at Coachella, and she did, and her set was amazing. So hair theory is, I'm gonna apply this to her really fast. So looking at her old music, she had her brown like wavy hair. Now it's red. It's bright red, and it's curly, and it's big, and that's like so in tune with her image right now. Yeah. So I do think that that's a big.
That also like helps for her to be like recognizable.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like when I hear Chappell Roan, like I associate her with the red hair.
Yeah, you just see it in your head, and so everyone kind of has a face to the name or hair to the name. So she also performed at the Gov Ball, and she dressed as a Statue of Liberty. Have you seen this?
I didn't even see that.
Okay. It was really everywhere because she's known for, she does drag like a lot. That's like her big thing. Like her outfits, you'll see you'll see on her album covers, you'll see even in an interview she goes all out. So again, it's very recognizable. It's very Chappell Roan. I think it would make so much sense for her to be like a judge on RuPaul's or something. Like it would just make sense. But she was dressed as a Statue of Liberty, and she performed like a whole set like that. And I mean, just look at her outfit. It was crazy. She was painted green, guys, and she was performing songs. And so that was, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Like it was that vibe. You know how
that
crazy
she was?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And it was just piqued everyone's interest.
I haven't heard about Lady Gaga. So.
Oh my god, she has like a new thing happening.
Like what?
She had a song with Bruno Mars come out last week. Isn't that crazy? I haven't heard it yet.
Really?
Yeah.
You should listen to it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then Lollapalooza happened. And I don't know, Lollapalooza, yeah. And so her set actually got switched with Kesha's after, so she was headlining after Good Luck Babe came out because business decision.
Mm-hmm.
She drew the biggest crowd in history. She drew about 110,000 people. And before you say, oh, they were there for other people, like other people perform on that stage, when I tell, there's a video of her song. She has a song called Hot to Go that has like a dance with it. And it's just a whole drone thing of like the whole crowd. And they're all dancing.
All of them?
It's wild. Like that was her like I made it moment. Like imagine her just like looking out to. The song's been out for a while because it was on her debut album last year. It's just insane. Like the pictures from that venue are crazy to look at. It's so overwhelming. There's so many people. So I think that's when people really realized what she was capable of. So the song peaked at number 7 and it's at the top of a bunch of mid-year best songs lists, Song of the Summer, stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think the next one is the chart.
Yeah, this is the chart. So like you can see like April 5th is when Good Luck Babe came out, right? Mm-hmm. And then she just like
crazy
freaking rocket, bro. Like
I would say she's around like 2-3 million Spotify monthly listeners when Good Luck Babe comes out.
Within 2 months.
In August, as of August 11th, she was at 40.11 million.
That's like
Spotify
within 2
listeners.
months.
It's crazy. Like the way it just goes up. You can see it goes up here a little. She opened for Olivia Rodrigo, both her tours actually. She also has the same producer. A fun fact that was just really like revealed was like Chappell Roan actually waited on her album so that the producer could produce Olivia's album. So they're just like queens supporting each other.
Cute.
But yeah, I mean, it just stresses me out. Like I want to make sure she's okay because this is crazy.
Okay, so Sabrina Carpenter, I like saw her in movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the Tall Girl?
Tall Girl. She was in Tall Girl
on Netflix. I remember seeing that, and I know she was like on Disney. Mm-hmm. Like I know who she was, and then like when did Emails I Can't Send came out? 2022, right? Yeah. So I did listen to that, and those songs were good. Like I still listen to that album. Mm-hmm. I really like that album, like Nonsense, and then some other ones on there are really good. But yeah, she's been pretty big for like a while. Yeah. And then she gained mainstream traction like after Emails I Can't.
Her 5th album.
Yeah, her 5th album.
That was her 5th
she has album. 4 other albums. Also, I did not know that, but some of them are a little bit older.
I love them. So. They're so good. They're so good. Everyone has to go listen to those albums right now. They're actually so good. She's been releasing music since 2011.
That's crazy. And she's like just now like kind of getting popular.
Mm-hmm.
So Feather was like popular. Like I remember the music video. All her music videos are crazy.
Insane.
Like they all just like murdering people. but like
it's cool.
But they're good. Like I like watching her music videos. They're like
her personality is very lovable. I think that's a big part of it.
I just watched her like her chicken shop date with Amelia. It was so funny. She's so cute and she's so real. Mm-hmm. But anyways, okay, so
Espresso.
Yeah, Espresso.
Espresso.
Everyone knows that song. Everyone like that one went insane. The music video went crazy. Like everything. And it's still like big, I think.
It's one of the Song of the Summer.
Yeah.
I saw someone say that espresso is not coffee anymore. It's a song by Sabrina Carpenter. But it was the first single off her brand new album that like just came out, August 23rd. And like Feather and Nonsense, I would say that on the next slide, okay. So Espresso did do like crazy numbers. It's so popular. So popular. It's everywhere.
It still is.
You couldn't run from the song. But looking at her most popular singles, these 4, Nonsense and Feather are what we call sleeper hits, which are hits that come back. Like extreme example of a sleeper hit would be like the song by Kate Bush from Stranger Things. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
So that
the
song,
really old one.
Yeah, the really old one, and then it came on charts and it was like number one. I think number one. I don't remember, but the artist was like super old, but she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." So that's an example of a sleeper hit. Obviously this isn't like that extreme, but Nonsense came out with her album, and Feather was actually not even on the album. Like she didn't think it worthy to be on the album.
It was just a single.
It was on the deluxe version.
Oh, okay.
So Nonsense, I would say Nonsense got popular while she was on tour
because of her outros. Because she did like all those really crazy outros with the songs.
She shows a lot of her personality.
Yeah.
But that's what got that popular. And then with Feather, I think it was the little dance that she does, the little kick that she does. That was really popular. And so then the songs just went viral. But Espresso debuted at number 10 and peaked at number 1. And Please Please Please, which was her just like latest single,
just like released that like a month ago maybe.
Debuted at number 2 and went number 1. Her 2 songs were fighting for the longest time. she actually tweeted, she was like, I can't say that word. Wait, never mind. Let's just ignore that part. But she did like,
she was like fighting against herself.
Yeah, and her 2 songs stayed in the top 2 spots for 5 weeks, which is a record only Ed Sheeran holds.
Really?
So they're matched.
With what song? Shape of You?
I think Shape of You, and then I don't even know actually. Perfect maybe, because they're on the same album. Yeah. But yeah, crazy.
So this is crazy. So okay, so her first 4 albums, they combined debut at 2.1 million streams, and then Emails I Can't Send, that was 3.3 streams. Short and Sweet.
3.3 million, not 3.3 streams.
Oh yeah. Sorry guys. Short and Sweet came out yesterday. Literally, today is Saturday. Yesterday it came out, August 23rd. This morning it debuted at 57.4 million streams, which is like
more than all her albums combined.
Right.
In terms of debut. It's crazy.
That's insane.
I want to keep in mind, like, her first 4 albums when they came out, online streaming wasn't really popular, but it doesn't even matter because this number's just so big. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's wild. Like, that's crazy growth. It's like, this is like 2024 is her year. Yeah, definitely her year. So we have like a chart. Again, you can see like she was doing really well for herself before Emails I Can't Send. Yeah. Anyways, and then she opened for Taylor Swift, which is where the videos of like Feather started coming from, which is where that got popular. She also did Coachella. Anyway, she did huge. She was like number 3 in Spotify listeners a while ago. Yeah, which is like really crazy. So yeah, that's her. Okay, but we're done. Yeah, that was a really good episode. We're just gonna stop now. I really enjoyed that actually. Yeah, that was fun. Hopefully, we're gonna do more episodes like this because this is so fun to me. Like I did research for this, guys. Yeah, she went all out, and I was just doing homework the whole week. I'm passionate about stuff like this, which is not great for my time. Why? But because I think it's like a hobby. Things to do, but it is a hobby. I go to her for all pop culture stuff. She's like, "Oh, wait, did you know this happened?" I was like, "Oh, no, I did not." She's like, "You live under a rock." It's like, okay, yeah, my fault. Yeah, but thanks for listening. I hope this was interesting. And please, like, drop some if you want us to, like, talk about any pop culture. Do you want to hear from us? Songs, anything. We got you. Yeah. And we're also trying to make shorter episodes. I don't know how long this one is. Maybe, like, 30 minutes. But, yeah, because people were complaining about how long the episodes were. So we listened. Constructive criticism is always welcome. To follow, subscribe, like, comment. Everything. Why did the door just open? That was kind of scary. Okay. Bye. Thank you.